evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell. And of course, doing a weekend wrap-up of sports with me will be Jason Cameron. Tonight, we're coming to you on a Tuesday. We had a long weekend here in Canada. They call it Victoria Day, Queen Victoria. And so we all got a great long weekend behind us. We had a big game 7 last night locally here, so we decided to push it one day, and we'd be able to do a wrap up of the conference semifinals in both the NHL and the NBA. We'd be able to preview the new series that are upon us, the conference finals, and do a great weekend wrap up with Combat Sports World, which was super busy over the weekend. And yeah, we're gonna have a blast. I can't wait, man. Let's get into it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Did you have a good long weekend?
I did. Obviously, it was great to watch the fights with you. It was great that you were able to make it out and watch that. That was awesome. And watch some basketball, obviously, on the weekend. That was fantastic to see as well. Surprising events, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the last thing was I was able to go to my cousin's for dinner on Sunday. Here's the bad news. I brought Tupperware. I couldn't fill it.
Oh.
Want to know why? Apparently he had a bunch of his like church friends come over. So there was like 14 of us. And I'm like, how am I going to take food if there's this many people? There was children. I couldn't just like take the food out of their hands. I thought about it though. I really did. Considered it. So then what I did was I brought them over to the side and I said, listen, I'm going to leave the Tupperware here for next time.
Okay.
Next time you're going to fill it. Right?
Nice.
Yeah, but I kind of threatened him. He laughed, but he was a little bit worried. But I was like, no, don't worry about it. Not this time, but next time. Fill that damn thing.
That's good. What were they serving up? What kind of food were you having?
It was a mixture of stuff. Like, okay, we had like some pork chops, we had some barbecue chicken, and then we had burgers.
Oh.
It was a mixed mash, and there was like some simple salad and stuff. And then everybody ate well. I tried to eat like a lot before everybody could take it all away. So I ate about 2 plates full.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. That's about your speed, but I feel sad for you that you didn't get the Tupperware filled as well.
Yeah, no, so I told them, I'm like, I'm leaving this here. You're gonna fill it next time I'm here. Fill it.
That's good. Good. Yeah. You might wait a little while for an invite, possibly, but we'll see.
No, I'll be going there very soon again. I'm gonna need that food.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me over for the big boxing fight.
Yeah.
We've been hearing about rumors of boxing being dead for how long, maybe 20, 30 years, we've been hearing it. And it's at its dips and drops, but when you have finally a super fight like this, Tyson Fury, probably the best heavyweight of his generation against this Oleksandr Usyk, who has come up. He's won a medal at the Olympics, and he won the cruiserweight title. That decided to start challenging himself against bigger, taller, huger fighters in the heavyweight division, having success and still being undefeated. And then they finally put the super fight together. And there's a lot of times where we were waiting for super fights and they just weren't happening for so many years. And I think that was starting to really bother a lot of boxing fans and a lot of people that really follow the sport. And then lately we've been getting some fights that we've wanted to see, and this was one of them. For the first time in 25 years, there was going to be an undisputed heavyweight champion in the 4-belt era, and it didn't disappoint. It was a hell of a fight. Definitely one of my favorite fights I've ever seen, and shockingly enough, Usyk won this fight and shocked the world, and took all 4 belts and is the champion. Tell me about your thoughts of the fight. Finally happening and how it turned out.
First off, I'm just glad that the fight happened. I'm glad that these two unbelievable fighters managed to get together, settle it in the boxing ring, and they both got paid an immense amount of money. Awesome. Everybody's a winner. Secondly, the fact that it was for the undisputed belt that we hadn't seen in 25 years, even though I must say it's only going to last for 2 weeks.
Couple of weeks, yeah.
Yeah.
IBF is
Taking their
they're
belt and going
stripping the
home.
IBF from title from him. It sounds like, yeah, brutal.
Yeah, which is just brutal, but it doesn't matter. At least he was undisputed, and nobody can ever take that away from him. So the fact that they finally were able to settle it in the ring, awesome.
Yeah.
But tactically, both of us were shocked at the way that Fury decided to fight this fight, which was to not use his physical superiority and not just lay on him, grind on Usyk. He was literally accepted the boxing match and was willing to box him on the back foot the entirety of the fight.
Yeah.
It's almost like he wanted to prove a point that I am the better boxer.
Yeah.
You cannot outbox me. I'm going to show the world. There was times where he was clowning around in the ring.
Wow.
I believe it was the same round where Usyk tagged him and almost had him out of there. I think for a fight of that immensity, you can't clown around.
No.
That guy is there. That other fighter that you're fighting against is the best in the world for a reason. He is no joke. I think at times Fury did not respect the fight for what it was.
Yeah.
And I think he paid for it.
Yeah. There was quite a few shocking moments for me. The game plan for sure for Tyson Fury. How he let the smaller man dictate the pace in the first 2 rounds. Actually push him around a little bit, which was very weird. But then once the 3rd round started, it seemed like, okay, now I'm going to fight. Now I'm going to push you back. Now I'm going to be the aggressor and I'm going to win the rounds. And he just started winning round after round after round. And it looked like, to me, he won about the next 5 rounds. And so then you're thinking, okay, maybe that was a smart game plan. Just sort of see what Usyk was going to give at him, clown around a little bit to maybe throw him off and get in his head. And on all of a sudden, Usyk lands the shot that just put him on rubbery legs. And amazingly enough, the referee, allowed Fury to keep going. A lot of refs would have called it off, and that would have been it. The rope stopped him from falling down. The ref stopped him from being counted out. And amazingly enough, I think the bell also saved him because I think if Usyk comes in and lands a couple more shots, he's going down on the canvas and not getting up. So we saw, definitely quite a few shocking moments in there. And then we were waiting as he went to the corner. How is he going to come back from that? Is he going to be able to recover? And you only got a minute and a half between rounds, and he somehow recovered. I think Usyk won, a few of the next rounds, but I think Fury won 1 or 2 of those last rounds. And amazingly enough, it went to the judges' scorecards, and I agreed with 114, 113. That's what I would have scored it for Usyk. But one of the judges had it for Fury. And so when that split decision got read out, you immediately just went, what? Oh my God. And but then the rightful judge called his score, and it was a split decision victory for Usyk, who deserved the win. He got that 10-8 round, and I think that was what just put him over the top and gave him that victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what gave him that victory. And just the fact that he had his game plan, which is push the bigger man back. Wade through the fire. It doesn't matter. I'm going forward. And he had to eat shots to carry that out. And he got hurt a couple times.
Sure.
But he was willing to wade through the fire to do what he needed to do to win the fight the way that he saw that he needed to win the fight, which is, I think it was a great game plan.
Yeah.
I am just surprised again that Fury let him implement said game plan and didn't push back.
Yeah.
Well, not like I thought he would do that right away, like where they both tried to establish their game plans right off the bat,
Immediately. Yeah.
immediately, but that didn't
Yeah.
happen.
So, do you think it was an ego thing for Fury? He wanted to say, I'm the better boxer. I can prove it. He just, do you think he didn't really listen to the game plan with his management team, his coaches, and said, I'm going to show them? Is that what happened here?
I I I think it was a lot of ego. I really do, because I think he was just like, everybody thinks I'm like, like I'm this big oaf or just no, man. We all know you're incredibly skilled.
Yeah.
But the fact that you played to his strengths, like why do that?
Right.
Play to your own strengths, right? Like that's the way I was looking at it. Like that, and there's just the fact that, and he almost beat him at it. All right. Like he almost beat him at that game.
Yeah.
But the fact that you played the game that you didn't need to play, I don't know. I don't know. Like I think he could have made that fight, I think, a little bit easier for himself by just like laying on him, leaning on him more, hiring the smaller man out with his weight and all that sort of stuff. But he just chose not to fight that way. So I wish he had, so I could see if Usyk could have handled that, see what he would have done to get away from that, or to counter that.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to see it.
So, I guess in a way, this turns out to be the perfect scenario, though, for the rematch. They had a rematch already booked for October. If Fury wins this and dominates, wins, I guess Usyk wins those first 2 rounds, Fury wins the next 10. Is there an appetite for the masses to see a rematch compared to this now that Usyk won? I think the appetite for the second one could actually even be heavier than for the first one.
Yeah, I think so too, because people see it's like strategy wise, you could have just played it completely different than what you did. So what happens if you do it that way?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm sure, and you got to give Fury credit where credit's due. He was in phenomenal shape, because you have to be in phenomenal shape for you to even come back from round 9, the round that he had in round 9. You have to be.
Yeah.
So I give Fury incredible credit for just being in the shape that he was. So I think people are curious to see, okay, so let's see this again, and let's see what changes both men make for the second time around. Sure. Because you know that they're both savants, you know that they're both very high IQ guys within that boxing ring, and you know they're going to make adjustments. So let's see what those adjustments are, because I'm very curious to see what they are.
Yeah. So the funny thing about boxing is that they're usually the money that they're going to get paid is kind of set. Sometimes it's also tied into the pay-per-view numbers, but immediately I hear that Fury makes 80 million and Usyk makes 35. And I mentioned that to a couple of friends that aren't huge boxing guys, and they're like, "What are you talking about? The guy that lost makes that much less than the guy that lost makes that much more than the guy that won? How the hell does that work?" And it's just the interesting way, because Tyson Fury is the guy that moves the needle, has for many years, has been that guy that draws the pay-per-view numbers, and is the fighter that everybody wants to see. So are the money figures reversed for the second fight?
I think how about this? Usyk definitely makes more money, right, since he won. All right, that's number one. Number two, I don't know if it's completely reversed, but maybe it's more even. 60-60. You know what I mean? Like something to that number, because the one thing about Tyson Fury that you can absolutely say, he sells the fight. He markets and he promotes the fight. You need a man like that. And he definitely moves the needle with his talk and the way he is, and the swagger. All of that plays a part. So that's why he got paid a lot more money.
Yeah. Okay, where does Usyk now in your pound for pound list? Give me your top 5 pound for pound boxers right now. Where does Usyk fall in that? Has he risen up to number 1 with this, massive upset?
Nah, no, sorry. Terrence Crawford's still number one for me.
Yeah.
Terrence Crawford's for me. I think he's in my top 3. I'm still gonna put Lomachenko ahead of him. Sorry, and he's a fellow countryman. Usyk shouldn't be too bothered by that. And Usyk's number 3. But like, I think they're so close. Those 3 men, it's interchangeable, man.
Yeah.
Interchangeable. But I shouldn't say that. I'll still have Terrence Crawford clearly number 1.
I have Terrence Crawford number 1 because of his dismantling of Errol Spence and just
Yeah.
absolutely shocking the world with
Yes.
how he dismantled him, how
No.
he was able to do such an amazing job against the guy that was, considered on his level
Yeah.
right there. And to the way he handled that fight and just proved how much better he is. I think he still stays in that number 1 pound for pound.
I think so too. And if there's a chance, I don't know if there is, but if there's a chance that Terrence Crawford somehow fights Canelo Alvarez,
Yeah.
if that fight actually happens, that would be the biggest fight this year. If they're looking to make that fight happen. I hear rumblings, heard rumors, but if it happens, man, well, I guess that's a fight we'll be watching.
And where do you put Canelo on that list?
He's in the top 5. Top 5. I maybe right behind Usyk at 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a pretty amazing time for boxing. It's blowing me away how many big fights we have been able to see over the last couple of years, and to finally have a unification belt or unification bout for all the 4 belts and to get it. Pretty sad that the IBF immediately has to throw some shade on this and not allow him to have this glory for at least a couple of weeks without just immediately saying, oh no, we're going to strip it because he's not fighting the mandatory challenger. And that there's going to be a interim champion June 1st. So that's just ridiculous. And that's one of the problems that boxing has had for so long, where, you could be just glorifying this guy for a while and, keeping him as your champ, putting it out there. Look at this amazing guy who's our champion. And instead, within days, they're already saying, oh, he's going to get stripped. He will have the belt till June 1st. So couple weeks, that's just unreal and outrageous, and it makes me not want to support the IBF at all.
Well, of course, right? Because like these belts and those organizations, they have their plans and they have what they see fits for them. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's fit for the champion that holds their belt at the time, right? So, and it's boxing. That's just a weird way that boxing works in their weird minds. That's just the way it works. I would have loved to have seen Usyk just remain undisputed champion for, I don't know, a little bit more than 2 weeks. But you know what? Whatever. At least the thing is, he is undisputed champion. They cannot take that away from him.
It'll always go down in history that he was the champion, undisputed 4-belt champion. So the mandatory title challenger is Filip Hrgović, and he will be fighting against Dubois, Daniel Dubois, they say, coming up June the 1st. For the vacant IBF belt when they strip it from him. So we'll see how that comes about. But just so great that it finally happened. I'm glad you and I could get together and watch it, because it's something that I know both of us have been really anticipating for so long. Do you think in the rematch that Fury's going to be able to solve this riddle, do the things that we thought he needed to do to dominate, win this fight, being the bigger man, 40 pounds, 6 inches taller, we've seen him fight, against other guys where he leaned on them, he tired them
Yeah.
out, he really
Yes.
wore down their legs. And I think if we see it and we know it, then his management team, his coaches should be able to see it, and everybody around him should be able to point, hey, this will win you the fight. So if you want to win next time, do this.
I think you know what? Still, ego is going to play a part for him, but I think he'll do a mixture of both. I think he'll try to he'll do the boxing, he'll back up and fight, but I think he'll have to mix in hugging on him, trying to push him into like a corner of the boxing ring and throw his shots.
Yeah.
I think that has to happen this time around. At times in this boxing match, he definitely has to impose his will and be the bully. He'll have to do that if he wants to win.
So unfortunately, we got to wait about 5 months for that rematch to happen. They did have some delays to this particular fight on a couple of occasions as well. So fingers crossed we get to see it in 5 months and we get to see what the changes are. If Fury does win this, then do they do a trilogy?
It depends on the
goes.
ending of the second fight.
Okay.
If the second fight is just as close to the first fight, who wouldn't want to pay for the trilogy?
Yeah.
Like who? I want to see that. I definitely want to see that. So, and I think it's just going to be just as close. Yeah. Because again, they're both going to make adjustments. They're both going to make subtle changes. Because now that they felt each other in the boxing ring, they know how the other guy moves. They know what to expect somewhat. Or the other guy's thinking of, okay, I think this is how I can trap him. To think that I'm going to do this instead, I'm going to do this instead. It's going to be a chess match between these two. So I think it's going to be an ultra close match again. And if it's like that again, yeah, I definitely would want to see the third. Yeah. And also too, I want to see them make more money. So yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's great. Ukraine has been, going through hell over the last couple years. It's great for Lomachenko to win last week. And now Usyk to win this week, and something of a rallying cry for this nation that's having to fight Russia and having all the death and destruction that's happened there. I did not like what Tyson Fury did say when he grabbed the mic, though, and he said, "Oh, I think the judges made the decision for him because of his country being war torn like that," and that was sour grapes. There are some cringeworthy moments from what Tyson talks, but that really bothered me, and I really wish he hadn't said that, something like that.
Yeah, because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it right off the bat. No, the better man won.
Yeah.
You lost. That's all there is to it. Now, if you want to throw shade like that, that's weak. Yeah. It's weak, as far as I'm concerned. You know it, I know it, and I think a lot of the boxing fans know it. It's weak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so to me, that was the highlight of the weekend. Incredible that we finally got to see that fight, and can't wait for the rematch. I guess I don't have any appetite for seeing Usyk against Anthony Joshua again after Usyk beat him already twice. But I think if Fury can win this, I think it sets up that Joshua Fury fight to be in Wembley Stadium. 80, 90, 100,000 fans there. And I think, that one could blow the doors off of anything that we've ever seen too.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome because there's only now a couple matches that haven't happened yet, right?
Yeah.
Fury Joshua or Usyk Wilder.
Yeah.
Like fights like that. Like that would be awesome to see because let's be honest, those are the 4 best heavyweights in the world. They all got to fight each other at some point.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let's turn our attention to let's do it the NHL first of all. There's a lot of mourning here in the Lower Mainland around the city of Vancouver. In this household, we really got some Canuck fever. Went to a lot of the games and really had a great time. Just loved seeing the city finally have something to celebrate sporting wise, It's been a way too long of a drought, and I couldn't believe how the city was embracing this team. This team was fun to watch this year. This team exceeded expectations from everybody. Almost every single prediction was that the Canucks weren't even going to make the playoffs this year. They won their division. Were one of the best stories in the NHL. Their coach is going to win Coach of the Year. The defenseman's going to win Defenseman of the Year. The goalie got consideration for Goalie of the Year. They had breakout seasons from many other guys, and it was just spectacular to see how many people started embracing them every time they had a win, and how many more people were jumping on the bandwagon. They ran out of gas. They played a spectacular game 5, played a horrible game 6, and then they played about 8 minutes last night of game 7, and that wasn't nearly enough to beat the Oilers. And it's tough. I really, put a lot of heart and soul in this team, and disappointing after being up 3-2, and now going golfing. It's tough, and I don't know how long it's going to take me to get over it, but today was definitely a day to wear black in mourning for the Canucks run that's finally over.
Game 7, first period, I believe the shots were 21 of 4, right? That's no way to come out for a game 7. Where's your heart? Where's your will?
Yeah.
What's going on? And then also, too, leaving your third string goalie out to dry, and him just saying, all right, I'll do what I can to, try to keep us in the freaking game, which is what he did.
Yeah.
I give so much credit to that young man. He was absolutely amazing, because any other team that has their third string play in the playoffs has no shot.
Yeah.
You're getting run over. You're getting utterly decimated. That's not what happened with this dude. Yeah. He said, hey, got it. Get on my back. And so we shouldn't even been in that position, if you really think about it. But the fact that we were was amazing. Yeah. So we have a ton of stuff to build upon. We have now a foundation that we get to build upon. We have excitement back in the city. We now know that we have a team. We got players and we got a great core. Yeah. Awesome. Now we just need to build upon that. Yeah, it sucked. It didn't go the way that we would have liked. We were missing our top goal scorer because of the blood clotting issue. Yeah. A lot of things just didn't fall our way. But what did fall our way was the fact that we now have an awesome team. Yeah. And we now have the fans are back on board because the team is awesome. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it really is a good thing. Yeah. 9 years of a drought with no home playoff games. Finally, boom, there was some playoffs, and I could just sense and see the excitement. I could start seeing the car flags. I could see the jerseys everywhere. I could, hear the conversations with people that I know don't follow the Canucks faithfully all the time. Suddenly they're talking about them and saying, wow, that was fun. It was great to see the city, embrace this team. And they're a fun team. They're a team that you can tell are really putting things on the line. They're playing really, really hard. They, give you an effort practically every night that's really incredible. So many comeback victories that just blew, people's minds. One guy came to work one day and said, effing Canucks lost the game last night. I'm like, what are you talking about? They didn't lose. They came back. They won. And he's like, they did not. I'm like, yeah, they came back and won that game, and he had already shut it off. And I know other fans that shut off games when it was 4-1 and said, that's it, Canucks are done. And, Canucks made these great comebacks. And, this is a year 2024 that I think is going to be very memorable for very many people around the city, to see how much the city becomes electric and alive, when the Canucks are on a roll and doing well. And I think this will bode well for a lot of the young guys to see what it takes to go on runs like this and take it to the next level and maybe go on a Stanley Cup run. And I think the experience, you mentioned Seelov's, being that third string goalie. I think he will be the backup next year. I think DeSmith will move on. And I think he's earned his spot now as Thatcher Demko's backup. I think that if Thatcher Demko does play, they do beat Edmonton and they go on to this conference final against Dallas. But Seelovs did as much as he possibly could in a very tough situation. And the Canucks really need to start working on a few things, tweaking their roster, adding a little bit here and there. And I think next year I would bet on them even advancing further than they did this year.
Yeah, like I think they don't have much to tweak. There's going to be tweaks, but they're close.
They are. Yeah.
They're clearly close.
Yeah.
They took Edmonton to 7 games. Yeah. 7 games with a third string goalie that nobody knew about that he existed. All right. Yeah. So I think they're incredibly close.
Yeah. They shut down Connor McDavid for the most part. They really, gave him lots of troubles. They were really good on their penalty kill. Their power play was very limited, and if they could have got their power play working, I think they win this series. They just needed a goal or two here or there, or would have won them some games. They've got to figure out Elias Pettersson, and when Brock Besser went down, they were scrambling, not knowing who to put in his place for that top line. I think they made a mistake. Talkett didn't make many mistakes this year, but I think he made a mistake putting Ilya Mikheyev up there. Mikheyev got 1 goal in his last 60 games, and he wasn't a guy you want on that top line. I think Connor Garland should have been there. I think that would have really put him over the top. Garland scored a beautiful goal, scored many great goals this year, was the driving force for their third line most of the year, but I think he would have probably scored a goal or two more last night and put them over the edge. But anyway, it's done is done. This series is over. It was a fun ride. I'm really glad that we got to go to so many games. I got to go with my cousins to games, and I had an absolute blast. Lorraine and I just couldn't believe how much fun we had, and it's going to be definitely a very memorable spring for this great run. And I'm super looking forward to next year already. Yeah,
because there is something to look forward to for next year. Yeah. And that's the point, right? Like it's like now there's excitement, there's buzz again. People want to talk about the Canucks. They don't want to talk about how bad they are, how much they suck. No, they're talking about how good they are. The fact that, we got 3 goalies now that are all studs. Yeah. Awesome. You know what I mean? Like, so right. We have a lot to look forward to. Like a lot to look forward to for next season.
That's true. Okay, so Edmonton moves on to face Dallas. Dallas was the Western Conference winner this year. They had, I think, 9 more points than the Oilers. The Oilers were preseason favorite to win the Stanley Cup, so there are a lot of people still predicting that the Oilers will win this series. I think Dallas and them are going to have a heck of a battle. I think it's going to go 7 games. I'm not sure who's going to win, but I think Edmonton might have a bit of the edge there. Stuart Skinner had his troubles. They went to their 3rd string goalie. They put Skinner back in game 6 and game 7, and he only let in 3 goals in those 2 games, got the 2 victories, and put him over the edge. If he plays great and he gets back to his top form, Edmonton is going to be really, really tough. But this should be a hell of a battle for the Western Conference title. It's going to be super fun hockey. Starts on Thursday night, first game.
Yeah, it's going to be Titanic tilts. I would love to see a Canadian team get through to the finals. I just don't know if they can beat the Stars. Yeah. Stars are good. They're like from top to bottom, defense off, like they have it all. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a battle, like you said. Is it going to be as hard fought a series as they had against us? Probably.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Yeah.
Probably.
Probably, yeah. In the Eastern Conference, it's the Rangers against the Florida Panthers. Rangers were the best team in the regular season this year. They won the President's Trophy, so they will host the first couple games against Florida. Florida went on that amazing run last year all the way to the Stanley Cup final, losing to Vegas. Maybe has that ability to knock off the champs of the regular season this year and take that next step. That's going to be a hell of a battle as well. I cannot wait for that series. The two conference championships I think are just going to be some of the best hockey we've ever seen, and I can't wait for that series. Wouldn't be shocked if it goes 7-2.
I wouldn't be shocked if it goes 7. I think I would still give the Rangers the edge in that series personally. The Rangers have been so good for so long. So I would imagine that streak should continue on, but it's going to be excellent hockey. Again, both conference finals, excellent hockey.
I think if you held a gun to Gary Bettman's head and forced him to say who he'd like to win, I think it would be New York, Dallas, two massive media markets, two very, very large fan bases and population there. But yeah, I would like almost anything that occurs there. I think, it's hard for a lot of Canadians to get behind a team that you always cheer against, especially the Canucks are always in the same division as the Oilers and hard to cheer for a division rival all the time. But because we've been on such a long drought here in Canada, no Stanley Cup winners since 93, I think, hopefully most Canadians get behind the Oilers now and really, cheer them on to a conference title as well as appearance in the Stanley Cup and maybe a Stanley Cup title. So we'll see. I don't know how many fans are going to jump on Edmonton's bandwagon, but to see Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, two guys have been very loyal to an Oilers organization that has really struggled for many, many, many years. They did reach the conference championship a couple years ago, but McDavid's been there, been loyal, and not seeing the success winning cups. Could go to a place that's a lot warmer in the winter, but he stayed there. I think at some point he needs to get that title, get that championship ring, and hoist the cup, and then maybe it's Oilers for life for him.
If he's able to do that, I would say certainly, but they got to get it done. And it has to start with those two guys.
Yeah.
Because those two guys are literally two of the best players in the NHL. So it starts with them. Hopefully the rest of the team follows their lead.
Yeah, let's hope so. Yeah, can't wait. The conference championship starts tomorrow. 5:00 puck drop here in Pacific time zone for the Rangers Panthers. And game 1, Stars Oilers. That goes 5:30 on Thursday, May 23rd, puck drop Pacific time there. Okay, NBA has reached the conference championships as well, and we had a epic game 1 in the Eastern Conference tonight. I hate that I know who won because I was hoping to see it all, but it happens a lot when we do this podcast that games are on. But this game tonight went into overtime. Boston and Indy. Should I ruin it for you or should I just?
Oh, I have a PVR and I was going to watch it after this, so don't do it.
I won't say. Okay. Epic game, amazing epic game. Can't wait to see it all. And we finally reached that. Boston was the prohibitive favorite to win this entire season. They were supposed to be the guys that finally got the Larry O'Brien hoisted and got their rings. and they haven't had they had a pretty easy regular season. Then they had a little bit of bumps in the road, and it started to look like maybe there was some chinks in the armor there. But here they are, and they face Indiana. Indiana could be a team that could upset them because of their offense, just so prolific. Absolutely just stomped. Teams at times through this year, winning by 30, 40, 50 points. But their defense to me is a little suspect. And I think that the defense with Boston is probably best in the league and just kind of maybe sways it over to Boston's side in the series.
Yeah, I would say so. And especially, we don't know when Porzingis is going to be healthy enough to come back. We don't know if it's going to be this series. What, game 4?
That's what they say, game 4. Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But even without him, I still favor Boston in this series because of their prolific defense, because they have two of the best defensive guards in the game with Derek White and Drew Holiday. And because they still have Tatum and Brown. Like I still favor the Celtics over the Pacers, but the Pacers can give them some problems on just their fast break and the fact that they go at an insane pace. They go at an insane pace, and the Celtics have to score with them. They gotta score with them. So there's a chance for the Pacers, but I'm still going with the Celtics in that series.
Yeah. Yeah, it should be an epic series, but I'm favoring Boston in it. I think they just have a little bit more, and that defense is just going to cause a lot of problems for Indy, and yeah. What did you think? Tell me what you thought about the Pacers and the Knicks series. How it ended up playing out. It was a pretty crazy series, and I know a lot of Knicks fans were really shocked and disappointed that they couldn't finally get there and beat this team and advance to the conference final like haven't for many years.
No, you know what? The Knicks just kind of ran out of steam because everybody got hurt. Like they gave everything they could, that team, and then they literally ran out of bodies. Yeah. They ran out of people. Like even Brunson at that last game 7, breaks his hand. Yeah. And once that happened, then you're like, oh well, okay, then it's over now. Like literally, that's our floor general. That's the guy that's been playing out of his mind for the playoffs. He has done everything in his power to keep this team afloat, and then he breaks his hand. So and everybody was playing hurt. Like even OG Anunoby tried to play, and you're just like, he can't move. He literally can't move. Like it's like he tried to give it a go. Hart was playing injured. All these guys, like there were so many injuries on the Knicks squad. Like if you look at the amount of people that were out with an injury, and if you put them in to this series, I don't think there's any question that the Knicks beat the Pacers. And the fact that they did that without all those guys, Mitchell Robinson's gone, Bojan Bogdanovic gone, like Julius Randle,
OG
gone,
Anunoby.
OG Anunoby, like all of these guys. Yeah. And they still took the Pacers to game 7 and gave them a run. So the Knicks should be plenty proud. Yeah. Plenty proud. And the fact that they know that it's like, no, we can hang. We can definitely hang. It's just unfortunately that the injury bug caught up with them, and then they just ran out of guys.
Yeah.
So
okay. On the Western side, you told me long ago that your team was the Charlotte Hornets, but on the weekend there, you texted me and said, my Nuggets are gone. And you had some crying emojis and stuff. Are the Nuggets your team? Or did I not hear you right? And Charlotte's gone and Denver's now the team?
Well, no. Okay. So this is what I will say. It was shocking to me. It was shocking to me that the Nuggets even lost that game. Like even after the game was done, I'm like, they really lost. It really happened. Like I couldn't believe it happened because at one point in time in this game, the Nuggets were up by 20.
20 points.
And you're just like, oh, okay, so this looks like it's well in hand. But then the Wolves, all of a sudden, their defense kicked into overdrive and they started locking them down. And then you could literally see the Nuggets begin to play tight.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, nobody wanted to take a shot besides Murray and Jokic. By the way, not those guys' fault. Those guys played awesome. Murray, 35 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Jokic, wait for it, 34 points, 19 rebounds, 7 assists. Okay, there was nothing more that guy could have done. All right, like he did his job. He did more than his job. Now, here's where the problem lies for the Nuggets. The third guy with points was Michael Porter Jr. with 7 points.
7.
Not good enough. That's why
the rest of the team outside of Jokic and Murray had 21 points. 7, 5, 5, and 4. Like, like what the hell? That's it.
What happened?
That's it. Like, can't somebody else get on board and score here? This is game 7, guys. Like, where is that third guy? They just needed one more guy to get double digits points, and they win this, and nobody else jumped on. It was a 2-man show, and you can't win many basketball games when it's just a 2-man show and nobody else does anything else. It was so disappointing that nobody else could put the ball in the basket.
Yeah, it was super disappointing. And the fact that the Wolves just kept chipping away, gaining more confidence. Anthony Edwards had a horrible game shooting. 6 of 24, 16 points. Now you'd think to yourself, if he does that, the Wolves can't win. No, that's actually wrong. They can win because the rest of his teammates took up for him. They all played together as a team and as a unit, and they won. And Karl-Anthony Towns, even though I don't really like him, 23 points, 12 rebounds. He played exceptionally well. And McDaniels, 23 points as well with 6 rebounds. He played exceptionally well. So I credit to the Wolves for taking out the Nuggets, who I didn't think was possible. And never would I have thought for the Western Conference Finals that it would be the Timberwolves versus the Mavericks. Never would I have thought that would be the matchup. Never.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's how it played out. And I think you wouldn't be seeing very many people have them in their bracket and have this as the Western Conference Final. Pretty unbelievable. You and I have talked a lot about the T-Wolves and their unorthodox way of creating this roster that was going to be the best team in this conference, and they just knocked off the defending champions with this. So we got to call them real now and be pretty blown away by what they've done. Edwards, like you say, he didn't play phenomenal, but just his presence alone is going to draw the top defender to him. And so it's going to open up, lanes for other guys and give them the ability to score. That turnaround jumper that Rudy Gobert hit, to me, was one of the most shocking moments of the entire game and series. And I thought, the Wolves might actually win this. When I saw that basket go through, I thought, holy cow, Gobert is finally this scoring machine here. And holy cow, this might be destiny for the T-Wolves to take out the champs.
Yeah, no, because you know what? Ant-Man said the same thing. It's like when I saw Rudy hit that shot, that's like when I'm like, I think we got him. I think we got him. So, and he was absolutely right. They did.
And I love that exchange that they had with the reporters after, where the reporters were saying, this is kind of strange because you guys aren't supposed to be here already. You're supposed to lose and lose a few times in heartbreaking fashion before you take it all the way. And they're like, hey, what are you talking about, man? We've been losing for 20 years, man. I think that's enough. We had enough. And
Yeah,
I thought that was a hilarious exchange between those guys and the reporters.
yeah. How much more do you want us to lose? Like, how much more do you want us to lose? I thought it was great because it was a perfect answer. Because it's like, yeah, no, they've been mediocre to garbage for a long time. Long time. I think the last time they made the Western Conference Finals was 2004 with Kevin Garnett or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's long enough, man. It's long enough. So, if the Wolves think it's their time, then it is their time. And if Anthony Edwards can pull this off at the right old age of 22, and then possibly get to the finals and possibly win a championship, well, I don't. Who else has done that?
Yeah.
I know Jordan hadn't done that. I don't know if Kobe did when he was young. It was close. 99, 2000.
Kobe
Might have
coming
been
in
around
at
that.
18, maybe,
Yeah,
yeah,
maybe.
coming in at 18. So,
But
he
but
had
but
4
with
years
Shaq
left.
as the focal point,
Yeah.
not him,
No,
right?
true. Yeah.
So this would be quite the feather in his cap, because if you look at the scouts that he's already taken down, Jokic and Murray being the biggest, also Kevin Durant and Devin Booker in the first round. So and if he can take out Luka and Kyrie as well,
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned the Mavericks, Luka and Kyrie. They also, had a really great run so far. They were able to get here, and not a lot of people were picking them early on. They came in as the 6th seed, and they knock off some giants, and they're there. Are you giving them a real legitimate shot to beat this T-Wolves team?
Yeah, of course, because Luka's on the team,
Yeah.
and Luka, in an odd way, he he's a little bit like Jokic. He's not like Jokic, but he does have a game where he's the offensive hub of that offense, right? So you got Luka, you got a chance, and he is that good. And also too, if he doesn't have it going, Kyrie has shown in the second half he could pick up for him when he needs to. So, and then also too, PJ Washington has been a pleasure. He has stepped up big as well in times of need, puts his 3-point shooting and such. And the reason why they won that game against the Thunder was that, unfortunately, Shea Gilgeous fouled him on that last shot.
Right.
And he made the 2 free throws to go up by 1, missed the 1 shot, so that the OKC had a more difficult shot at the end of the game.
Yeah.
It was a half-court heave that they didn't make. So they have a chance. Yes, they most certainly have a chance.
We in the Eastern Conference, we talked about Boston having that edge because of their defense and the 2 defensive stalwarts they have. I think that the defense will overcome this series for Minnesota, where you got Jaden McDaniels and you got Rudy Gobert, and I think the big front court that Minnesota has, I think, gives them the edge in this series and should probably allow them to prevail.
Yeah. With the way that they play defense at times against the Nuggets, if they can replicate that against the Mavericks, which I'm pretty sure they can, I would give them the edge as well.
Yeah. I mean, to hold Denver to 90 points after being down 20, to hold them 90 points in game 7, blew my mind and really, made me think maybe this team is a team of destiny and they're going to the final. You mentioned PJ Washington. I think Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington were huge pickups for this team to finally get that full roster, that ability to extend plays and have a third scorer, like we mentioned, that Denver didn't have. I think that PJ's been having some spectacular games and really allowing them to be able to overcome teams because they got that third score.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that. And I believe that Daniel Gafford has been great as backline defense and the rim protector at the rim. Yeah. He has done that job in excellent fashion. And again, you got to give the front office credit for the Mavericks for getting those two players that they absolutely needed to round out that roster and get the best out of it.
Yeah. So yeah, game one goes tomorrow in that series, and alternating nights for the next couple of weeks, however long these series go. Can't wait for both of them. I think these are going to be both fantastic. Tell me who, if you had to list off your top, let's say 3 favorite players in the NBA right now, who would be your top 3?
Favorite players to watch,
Yeah.
excitement wise. Okay. Joker, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Like I'm going Victor just because of the pure fact that I've never seen anything like that. He does things where it's like, is he playing on a Nerf hoop? Looks like he is. Looks like he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
go with
thought
those.
you were gonna say Joker, Luca, and then I wasn't sure where your third guy was gonna be. And I'm like, okay, it's kind of funny. Jason seems to be having his 2 favorite players white guys. And I don't see I see most black guys not really, appreciating the white guys as much. And so it's nice to see that, some of your favorite guys are the white guys who are doing some pretty magical things.
Well, you know what? I appreciate a hooper.
Yeah.
And you know what? These guys can hoop, man. And especially with the fact that Joker, he doesn't quit. He doesn't have the body type where you think like this guy's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's absolutely unbelievable. He is unreal with his touch and his feel for the game. You know what he actually reminds me of? Like if there's a similarity that I'm going to draw, he's kind of like a Gretzky, where he sees the play happen well before anybody else, and he
Right.
knows exactly what to do.
Love it.
And
Yeah.
the fact that he's now trained his teammates to think like him, they react to what he needs them to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
So
That's a
yeah,
great analogy. And Gretzky was always criticized for not being super physical. You didn't see him,
yep.
built incredible muscles all over. He just thought the game ahead of everybody else and used his abilities to the best he could and became the greatest of all time. And everybody criticizes the Joker. He doesn't have a vertical. He doesn't
Yeah.
look, he doesn't have the muscle structure that so many of these other centers that he's facing on a nightly basis do. And if Luka was 7 foot tall, would he be pretty much a mirror image of the Joker? Would they be the same guy?
It would be pretty close, man. It would be pretty close. He probably obviously have better handles than Joker, obviously, but at the same time, I don't know if it looked that much different because like they think they have such an exceptional basketball high IQ, both of them, that they think the game just in a different way than others. They really do.
When Kyrie went to Dallas end of last year, Dallas ended up absolutely imploding, blowing up, not making the playoffs, and a lot of criticism was thrown onto Kyrie. And there was a stat that went out yesterday that I wasn't aware of, but Kyrie Irving is now 14-0 in series clinching games in his career. And that absolutely blew my mind. I had no idea that that was his on his resume. And yeah, he's been able to come over there, take a back seat to Luka and be that complementary piece that has taken them this far. And how amazing will it be for this Dallas fan base and for this organization who took a huge risk on a guy that has imploded and had a lot of issues in many other places, be able to take them to a conference championship and on to the NBA final. It would be an absolutely amazing story.
It'd be an amazing story. It would vindicate Mark Cuban to say, "Yeah, I took a risk and it paid off."
Yeah.
big time. So that would be vindication for him, vindication for Kyrie, because here's the thing about Kyrie. Like when he's in a good mental state, which he clearly is right now, which is awesome, and he just plays the game, he's one of the best players to ever watch play the game. Period. He's a pleasure to watch. Like where you look at it and you're just like, I didn't know the game could look that great, could look that beautiful.
Yeah.
That's how he can make the game look. And so I am happy that he's happy. I'm happy that Luke is happy to play with him and that they're managing to make this come together. You know, like, and the fact that Kyrie is just like clearly taking a back seat because, well, it's clear as day to the rest of us that, like, well, Luke is this that good. So
This
he
is
should.
this is his team. Yeah.
Team.
So, yeah. Well, I can't wait for both conference championships. All these teams have fallen by the wayside that were supposed to be here, and these four are here. I pretty much think that Boston was the only team out of these four that was supposed to be here. So we're going to see some really interesting matchups here and some great basketball. I cannot wait. I can't wait to break it down with you in a week and see what's played out.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to watching basketball all this week. It's gonna be great, and I can actually finally watch it off my PVR.
Nice.
Finally.
Oh, they finally sent you one.
What a nightmare. Anyways, yes, they finally sent me one. Guy came yesterday morning at 8 in the morning. Awesome. Wow. And it was awesome that he woke me up. Anyways, cool. The funniest thing is, you know how long it took him to set it up? 5 minutes.
Really?
Bing, 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 bing. There you go. And I'm like, so it took me a month to wait for that.
Oh, Jesus.
Awesome.
Unreal.
Awesome.
Wow.
But at least now I get it now. I got it.
Who do you deal with? Telus or Shaw or?
Shaw. Just what a pleasure. What a pleasure. So cool that Rogers bought them and then just made them so much more efficient. They did not. So yeah, anyways, yeah, it's been great.
Well, I'm glad you finally got it. It's a blessing for me. I don't know what I would do without it. I'd have to quit my job probably and just be home all the time. Couldn't miss anything, but the PVR keeps me employed, I guess. So it allows me to go watch a lot of this later. I watched sports so much now that's not live, and I got to tell you, when you sent that Nuggets thing, that killed me because I haven't seen the game yet. And I'm like, oh no, Jason blew it for me. Shit. So
I thought
be careful from now on.
Okay, because I thought for sure that you were watching it. I honestly did because I'm like, it's such a big game, and I thought you were watching it live. My mistake. Next time I'll go watching the game ?
Yeah, just send that first. Yeah,
and then I'll ruin it for you. So don't worry.
Okay, we got a few other news and notes. Lionel Messi is supposed to come here to play on Saturday against the Vancouver Whitecaps. And all my friends that are football fans, soccer fans, think that he's not coming. He was injured last week, missed the Wednesday game, played this Saturday. Didn't perform well, but did play. But everyone says don't buy tickets if you're hoping to see Messi. He's not going to play, and this is crazy. This is really going to send some shock waves through Vancouver if he doesn't play. And one of the reasons is guys like him do not like playing on turf. And it is so susceptible to giving them injuries. And I think he's got a hard, fast rule that he will not play on turf. And the Whitecaps have been gleefully selling tickets. Messi, even season tickets. Messi's coming. I think they should make an announcement, weeks out, months out. If that's his rule, then don't try to sell tickets to people that are outrageously priced, and in hopes that he's coming here when he had no intention of doing it at all. So this is scary. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. But my money is that he's not going to be playing on Saturday.
Hell, like I didn't think he was gonna make it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like I just didn't think. I thought this would be one of those games where you'd be like, yeah, no. Like just like load management. Sorry,
Yeah.
just probably not gonna play that game.
Yeah.
Like, and also too, if that's actually a thing that he doesn't play on turf, and then the Whitecaps know that and willfully just sold the tickets and marketed it like he's coming, like,
Yeah.
well, all right, we'll take a good look at that team because now you can't trust them with the truth.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Do you want to keep supporting a team like that? Is that the team you want to keep supporting?
Not
Is
very
it?
cool. Yeah.
No.
That's pretty dirty.
Oh,
Yeah. It's kind of
dirty.
fraud and pretty dirty. Um, so when Canada, US, and Mexico were given this World Cup soccer tournament in 2026, given the birth,
Yep.
FIFA made it known that they will not allow turf fields to be part of the tournament at all. So
Perfect. Good.
Vancouver and BC Place have stepped up and said, we're going to put real grass in the stadium. So if they're willing to do it for FIFA, they should be doing it now for this kind of thing and just having it all the time and not risking injury and risking these superstars coming and playing here. It's kind of brutal that they'll do it for one, but they're not doing it for this other league.
You know what? It's fine because you know what? Eventually the Whitecaps will be like, all right, well, we're going to have to change things because all of a sudden what they'll notice is this: superstars just won't play.
Yeah.
They won't play. And then all of a sudden, so now you bought the tickets thinking that said superstar was going to play. And then he's just like, yeah, no, I'm not going to play.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Of course not. Then that would be the wake up call for the organization to say, I guess we got to get away from turf.
Yeah.
I don't know why they haven't done it already
No
because
kidding.
turf is garbage. We all know this. It causes an excessive amount of injuries. I don't know why you're even playing on it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I didn't like the roof configuration because you're indoors, it's hard to grow grass. So, if their roof could have actually retracted all the way so that the entire field could, see the sunshine, have the sunshine and rain come down upon it, then you can keep real grass growing all the time. But when it's only like the middle and it's got all these actual beams around it to hold it up, it's not it's pretty tough to have the grass. So yeah, it's just a fiasco and I'm pretty upset about it, and really wanted to see him play here, but the tickets have become outrageously priced, and it just seems like we're gonna all be disappointed on Saturday.
But you know what? It's just a money grab.
Yeah,
I get it. I get it, Whitecaps. Money grab. Grab that money. By the way, oh, he didn't play. Oh, well, you know what? We can't control that. It's like, oh, well, you already knew he wasn't going to play. You just want to grab the money. That's fine. That's fine. But now, buyer beware, right? You fool me once. It's like, you think that, oh, Messi's coming back again? Yeah, no worries. I'm not buying.
not doing
No
it.
worries.
Yeah.
Not doing it. So.
Okay, the PGA Championship happened in Louisville, Kentucky this past weekend, and there's a few things I want to mention about it. The beginning of the tournament, the coverage, immediately they showed Layla Ali talking about her father, Muhammad Ali, from Louisville, and all the great things that he did in his life and in his career. And that I thought was a very cool way to show everybody that this is Louisville. This is a place you want to come. This is where the greatest came from. And I thought it was an amazingly smart executive that decided to get Layla to narrate the beginning and talk about this great Louisville, Kentucky, and where this tournament was being held.
Yeah, that's actually pretty smart. That's actually a great segue to set up the whole event. So
Yeah.
that I don't know who came up with that idea, but that was incredibly astute of them to do that, because then you shine a light on Louisville, Kentucky, to say that, yeah, this is where greatness has come from.
Yeah.
And if you want to see great golfers, you now associate Louisville, Kentucky with that.
Yeah. Well, they had the greatest golfer on the planet arrive on the course to start his second round, and they decided to do an O.J. Simpson and arrest the guy and haul him off to jail. It was a terrible look. It's making the police force look ridiculous, and especially a guy that's at the gate. The number one golfer in the world shows up. You're like, oh, yeah, you can come on in, Scotty Scheffler. Sure. Why would you put a police officer at a gate that's supposed to be allowing the golfers in, and he doesn't even recognize the number one top player in the world, and he decides to handcuff him and take him to prison? Brutal, horrible start. Probably cost Scotty Scheffler this tournament, and absolutely put a bad light on the police force there, and how welcoming golfers are in their community when a misunderstanding at the gate leads to them arresting the number one golfer in the world and hauling him off to jail. Almost missed his tee time and would have been disqualified for the tournament. Pretty crazy. It was just brutal. I couldn't believe it when I woke up that day to that news as well.
Okay, but give the listeners a little bit of context to why the police officers were at an elevated level, which was because there was a fatality that just happened outside the golf course.
Yeah.
Right. So
been.
they were on edge already. Yeah. And I guess Scotty Scheffler came in to the area where he was just supposed to just drive on in. And just like, and then the police officer's like, well, who the heck are you? It was like, well, I don't know. I'm the number one guy. And I got a tee time. Like, it's like, I'm going to play. And obviously there was a miscommunication, or apparently that's what the cop said. But at the end of the day, like what is that cop trying to prove?
Yeah.
Like he actually had PGA credentials. Yeah. I believe he was actually even in a PGA car that had the credentials on the car.
Yeah, exactly.
So with all of that being said, he can't see through that. I think it was more of a part of ego, because cops will do that all the time. It's like, you didn't listen to what I said. Now you go to jail. All right, that's cool. Yeah. So here's what's going to happen now for your economy for golf. Golfers will be like, I don't think I want to go to that tournament. I saw what happened to Scotty Scheffler. Not happening. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
Done.
Pretty bad.
That's it. That's what's going to happen. That's what you created. If that's what you wanted to happen, good for you. You did it.
Yeah.
Excellent work.
Yeah, I think that, if there was a misunderstanding, then it's like, okay, hey, sorry. I say sorry, you say sorry. Hey, we were on edge because of this incident. Yeah. And, sorry, my bad. Not like progress it all the way to handcuff him, pull him off to jail, fingerprint him, take pictures of him, make him have to go to court at some point here. Like, just got so blown out of proportion, and it really just shed a very negative light on a lot of that aspect, and it was really tough. And I think it really had to affect him. He played actually pretty well that day, but with all the media scrutiny and all the stuff on him, I'm sure it weighed on him and caused him, not to be playing his best, which he was hoping to do. Xander Schauffele ended up winning the tournament. It was his first major of his career. He was kind of considered one of those guys that was on the cusp and had won the most without winning a major. Finally was able to get that. Shot an amazing 9 under 62 on Thursday opening round, led the tournament after the first day, and then led it every day after that, was able to get to a major record of 21 under, beat Bryson DeChambeau by one shot, beat the field by many, and finally got a major championship on board for him. And instead of Scheffler, it was Schauffele. And very big congratulations to him getting his first major victory.
Yeah, that was awesome. And he took advantage of the fact that Scheffler was shaken. He definitely took advantage of that. And so good for him for finally breaking through and getting that major win. How much money did he win off that, actually, by the way? Do you remember?
Yeah, I think it's 4.5 million, something like that. So yeah,
It's okay. You know
pretty
what?
good.
It's all right. It's
Yeah.
you can buy food with that, so that's pretty good.
Yeah. He beat Bryson DeChambeau by one shot, and Bryson flying the live flag. He was so close. He's one of the guys that jumped to live, and a lot of the live supporters were really hoping that a live golfer would win this. A lot of them live golfers cannot play in a lot of these majors because they're not getting these world golf ranking points. But a guy like DeChambeau has won a major before, gets an automatic berth into the major tournaments, so he's there. And he was very, very, very close. Played spectacularly. And any other year that Schauffele doesn't go off and go crazy, he wins with a 20 underscore. And it's still quite a fractured golfing world, but kind of cool to see live against the PGA, still battling when they reach these major tournaments.
No, it's cool because it's competition at the end of the day, and it's good to see the best of the best kind of get after each other and go at each other. So always good to see that. Always good to see great competition.
Um, I did see an amazing meme somebody put together, and it was all the police cars heading down the freeway in LA chasing a golf cart with Scheffler in it instead of the Ford Bronco. A golf
Nice.
cart
Yeah.
had taken over for the Ford Bronco. I thought that was hilarious that somebody put that together. I'm sure Scotty's not laughing still, but I guess his next court appearance is June the 3rd. They say that he doesn't have to be there. His lawyer will represent him. And there's talk that maybe they will just toss this out and they will just let him get on with his life. I'm sure hoping that that's the outcome to it.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second. What's the talk again?
That they might just throw this whole case out and he might not have to actually face justice, have to go to court. The next appearance is June the 3rd. His lawyer is going to appear on his behalf. He will not have to be there. And hopefully, they're just going to toss this out and say, sorry about this. We shouldn't have progressed it this far. Go on with your life.
Well, or we're gonna take this all the way to the top. We're gonna drag you through the mud. All right. Then you know what? I wish I could have the. Correct. Sorry about that. I wish they would have the confidence to do it like that, to do the right thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
I really don't. I don't know if they will. I would love to think that they would just do that because this is a waste of everybody's time.
Yeah.
Like literally. But you know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it goes forward too. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you might be right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are hurting after once the conference championships happen in the NHL and the NBA. There's a lot of cities that started getting their hopes up on these runs, getting close. That in New York, it was tough to see those Knicks fans. Oh man, they were shaking it really rough. Here in Vancouver, obviously with the Canucks losing out, your Denver Nuggets get knocked off. You were in a bit of mourning. I kind of harken back a little bit to a friend of mine, Todd Schutz, and um, his two favorite teams in his life have been the Montreal Expos and the Vancouver Grizzlies, and both teams were ripped away from the city, moved somewhere else to never be seen again locally here in Canada. He said he's tried so many times over the years to give the Canucks his heart, and he just couldn't ever do it because they always failed and they always let him down. And at the beginning of the playoffs, he said that to me. And about a week and a half later, all of a sudden he texts me, "Hey, Darren, I'm officially a Canucks fan." And I was like, "Oh my God, welcome to the dark side. This is amazing." And great to see. He said even his daughters and his wife were watching games with him. And things were just really starting to brighten up in his life. And I feel sad for guys like this that finally gave their heart to the Canucks and ripped away. And yeah, it's a period of mourning, I think, in a lot of cities after this weekend when a lot of teams did get eliminated.
It is. It's a period of mourning and it's a period of celebration for others.
Yeah.
That's the essence of sports. It's like it's the thrill of victory, the fear of defeat, all of that coalesces into, you know what? That's why we watch.
Yeah.
That's why we watch. We watch for the theater, we watch for the pageantry, and we watch because we're passionate about these sports.
That's true. Yeah. Okay, last comments I want to make before we shift to the UFC. Caitlin Clark has another huge endorsement deal on the way. She was just signed to a multi-year partnership with Wilson. The only other athlete in history that has a signature collection with Wilson is Michael Jordan. So pretty spectacular that Caitlin Clark and Michael Jordan are the only two. She has 3 white and gold Clark branded Wilson basketballs that have just dropped into stores around the world. They're titled Threes Up, Record Breaker, and Crowd Maestro, and they feature some cool laser engravings with some of her signature moments from her time when she played at Iowa. And it's absolutely incredible how she's still moving the needle, becoming ambassadors for these big brands. She's garnered deals with Nike, State Farm, Gatorade, and now Wilson, and outdrawing the Indiana Pacers with the Fever in a couple of those home opening games. Fever's still winless, but Caitlin Clark is blowing people away, and a lot of these companies want to get on board with her right now.
Which is awesome for the WNBA because what she's literally doing is opening doors for all the ladies.
Yeah.
Like she has opened the door so that all these corporations are just like, okay, this is just now another chance for us to do our marketing through these women.
Yeah.
And these incredibly talented women that play basketball. So I think it's a fantastic thing for the WNBA. It's a fantastic thing for all the players in the WNBA. And it's awesome to see Caitlin Clark just making a whole ton of money.
Yeah. And her arch nemesis in the college ranks was Angel Reese. And Angel just made an announcement today that she became a co-owner of the new DC Power Football Club, the new soccer team, women's soccer team in Washington, D.C. She becomes part owner of the soccer team, and she was just absolutely thrilled to get on board already. Just playing her first few games as a pro, and she's co-owner of this new professional women's soccer team.
That's actually pretty impressive. Like you just literally started your WNBA career and you're already an owner. Yeah. Fantastic work. Great work.
Amazing. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Women's sports is setting unprecedented levels and just blowing people away with the popularity and how much it's how much it's increased and yeah, good on him. I love it. Great to see. Okay, we've got a little bit of a breakdown to do. UFC Vegas 92. We had a pretty good fight card put together. The main event had the veteran Edson Barboza against the up-and-comer Leron Murphy. And this was fight of the night. They both got 50K, but Leron was heads and shoulders above Barboza and just showed, wow, this guy is a force to be reckoned with. Came in, easily dispatched, in my opinion, the number 12 ranked fighter and took a very, very one-sided victory.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. I thought Murphy definitely dominated in the grappling aspects of this.
Yeah.
And even in the stand-up, he was willing to close distance and throw his hands, and his boxing was most certainly on point.
Pretty impressive. 6 straight wins now for him. In the division, Movsar Evloev has 7. Ilya Topuria has 6 as well, and Joe Anderson Brito has 5. Yeah, I see, some top 10 fighters coming up for Leron. I think, yeah, the sky's the limit for this guy. They call him the Miracle. He said he wants to change his nickname, but for a guy to be shot 2 times in the face and 1 time in the neck, in one incident, get hit by a car on his bike in another, and almost die. Sounds like the immortal Matt Brown, another guy that you just can't kill. And I think his story is just incredible. And I think one day he's going to be wrapping a UFC belt around his waist.
Yeah, I think it's sometimes you look at a fighter like that, and I think you just kind of like, I think it's only a matter of time. I think it's only a matter of time, and especially with the fact that I don't think he can die. So that's pretty cool because life has tried to kill him numerous times and it's failed every time. So yeah, I like Leron Murphy. I love his story, and it would be great to see him challenge for the title at some point in
time. I'm looking at him now. Okay, so they actually have him today ranked number 11. Right above him has Giga Chikadze, Calvin Cater, Aljamain Sterling, and Josh Emmett. Who do you like out of those guys that I just listed? Great fights, all of them, but who do you think we should be looking at as his next opponent?
I'd say Josh Emmett. I'd say that'd be a great fight. I think he's good enough to leapfrog all of those guys. I would have said actually Giga Chikadze, but no, I think it's time for Murphy to really be tested, and I think he needs to fight the 7th or 6th guy, or maybe even the 5th guy in the division. Yeah. I think that's where he needs to be.
Yeah, he's on a meteoric rise, and look out. A lot of these guys are gonna have to battle him to keep him down, and I think the sky's the limit. Not ready for Volkanovski, Topuria, those guys yet, but 2 or 3 fights, and could be seeing him fight for the belt. In the co-main event, this looked like a great battle between Chaos Williams and Carlston Harris, and Chaos just proved that he is the chaotic guy. Came in and just dispatched him. Huge KO, very quick. Got the victory and got 50K for one of the performance bonuses too.
We all know that Chaos has power in them hands, and he showed it once again by flooring him with the right hand. And I believe he finished him off with just 1 punch when he was grounded.
On the ground, yeah.
Yeah, and that was all she wrote. That's all he needed to do.
Yeah.
Very definitive stoppage by Williams. He looked fantastic.
Yeah. He even took a couple of shots that would have dropped most fighters. He took
Yep.
one to the back of the head when he swung really kind of awkwardly and he was down, and Harris
Yeah.
ended up hitting him perfectly in the back of the head, and he just stood up and took it, and then wham wham knocked him out. And yeah, this is a guy that lives up to his nickname Chaos, and yeah, puts on spectacular KO performances like that. It was super impressive. The fight that happened before this, both you and I were really kind of in Temba Garimbo's corner, hoping for him. He has such an amazing story, very heartwarming. Has been able to bring fresh water to his country, to his villages, to the villages. Been able to. He's opening a library. He's been able to donate a ton of money to help the less fortunate in his country. And when Dwayne the Rock Johnson gifted him a house and kind of really put him on the spotlight quite a bit more, he just became a guy that you really root for. Unfortunately, this was not a fun fight to watch. It was just a really grinded out, boring style of grappling, and he got the win, but it was tough because yeah, it just wasn't a spectacular fun fight to watch.
No, no, it was quite the opposite of that. It was boring and it was repetitive.
Yeah,
But he did exactly what he needed to do to win.
sure.
So he definitely out grappled Braham Brahamaj Braham Brahamaj. You know what? Good enough. Okay, so he definitely out grappled him, and he kept doing that from round one to round three till the fight was over. Great win by Garimbo, but yes, it was not a stellar or exciting fight. It was just it was a wrestling match. So there you go.
There was a bit of an emotional moment at the end. He said a lot of online trolls were really calling him out and saying really terrible things to him
Yeah,
as he was heading into this fight. One of his coaches lost his mother to cancer
yeah,
partway through the training camp, and he did not divulge this news to Garimbo. Garimbo said he had a flight scheduled out after about 4 weeks or something, and he begged him to stay, not knowing that his mother was gravely ill.
yeah,
And he did sacrifice, stayed, helped him get ready for this fight. And then, unfortunately, he did hear the news that his coach's mom had passed away. So he said, this is super tough and brutal that, I robbed him of that ability to spend those last few days, weeks, month with his mom, and so he had a very heavy heart and felt really quite guilty over it. And that was amazing that his coach would do that sacrifice to help him get ready for this fight.
that's how much he believes in him.
Yeah.
So if you have somebody that's willing to do that for you, can't really fail now, can you?
So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty amazing. Yeah, that was heartwarming, and wow, yeah, it was crazy here.
Mhm.
Okay. Tell me about the your thoughts of the Yanez Vinicius Salvador fight.
I will say this right off the bat. I thought it was a pure mismatch. It was just very obvious to me that Yanez was literally just waiting for the perfect counter because he knew that he was the better boxer. He was the better fighter than Salvador. He tagged him with the left first, hurting Salvador, but he was like, yeah, it was really close. That was a good punch, but it wasn't just quite right. Then he just literally floored him with the right.
Yeah.
And that was all she wrote. Went down, did some ground and pound, had to pound him out a little bit, but yeah, he got the win. I thought it was a pure mismatch, though.
Yeah.
Salvador shouldn't have been fighting Yanez. Period.
Unfortunately, there was quite a few mismatches on this card, and I don't UFC doesn't do that too often, but they had some ones that were clear mismatches, and this was.
Yep.
The funny thing I thought about this fight was Yanez was swinging for the fences big time early
Yeah.
on. And
Yeah.
just as this knockdown happened, Dominic Cruz was saying, okay, Yanez is to really just, not
Take a
just,
little
yeah, just take a little off,
off.
not just throw haymakers every time, just really
Yeah.
just pepper the jab in there and then bam, there it happens.
Yeah.
And then he didn't really eat his words, didn't say, hey, shouldn't have said that.
No.
It just was happening, just perfect timing where he was like, I think you should take a little bit off his shots. Boom! The shot dropped
Yeah.
him. And, pretty much so the beginning of the end was right there.
Yeah, I know. It was pretty funny that he was saying that right as he drops him and stuff. So, but again, yeah, I thought this was a mismatch. They fed Salvador to Yanez like just a sheep to a wolf, and
Yeah,
a wolf ate.
that
Well,
was it. That was it. Okay, we had Angela Overkill Hill, one of the veterans of the sport, been around forever, fighting Luana Pinheiro. Hill still ranked, has been ranked for a lot of time, has had her ups and downs, or not the greatest record, but this might have been one of her best performances ever. She did get 50K bonus also for this performance. And this was her first career submission victory out of what is that, 30 fights. And pretty amazing that she's able to evolve her game and finally get the first submission victory, get 50K, and a very impressive win.
very impressive win. I thought she dominated the fight in all aspects, in stand up and in grappling. Her takedown defense was exceptional in this fight,
Yeah.
and she was able to take down Pinheiro at will. I thought Pinheiro was, for the bulk of this fight, or most of this fight, was tentative, and Hill was super assertive. And I thought that very much played a role in Hill's win in this fight.
Yeah. She ended up getting the guillotine choke, got her mounted, and forced the tap. Herb Dean had to step in. That gave her the most wins ever in the strawweight division at 11. And she called out Jessica Andrade to ask for a female BMF belt. And I think if men got a BMF belt, why can't the females have a BMF belt?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you know what? You are absolutely right. We're into this thing of gender equality. So yes, that should happen. Now, should it be those two that actually fight for it? You can think of some other better fighters. But anyways, yeah, but I think that should happen.
Yeah. True. Yeah. Okay, the Tom Nolan knockout victory over Victor Martinez, pretty impressive. Just a brutal knee to the body that was just sort of sneaky, and
Yes.
all of a sudden just dropped him, and you're like, hey, what dropped him? That was the knee, and then just bam, 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 pounded him out. He was in trouble. He had been knocked down a little bit earlier, and looked like he was in all sorts of trouble. Was able to get back to his feet and quickly land that knee right to the liver. Took out Martinez. Impressive fashion.
Impressive fashion. Because I would say that was a come from behind victory for sure, because Martinez looked like he was in control of that fight, or about to win that fight, when Nolan threw that knee. I thought personally could have broken some ribs.
Yeah.
Could have, because it was just the way that he immediately reacted and crumpled like that. But anyways, either way, Nolan, great victory, terrific win.
Yeah. He wants to fight in Perth in August. The Queensland, Australia native should get it. 7-1. Love his nickname, the Big Train. Beat the Brick and got the win. Okay, we had this French fighter, huge favorite in this one. They brought in Tuco Tokos on very short notice. I think they said he flew like 16,000 kilometers or miles. I don't know, but he flew all the way from his home, flew all the way to Abu Dhabi, then had to get on a flight, fly all the way back to Vegas. Some crazy amount of flying came in and kind of was really put into a tough spot right away. This newcomer, Omar Sy, ends up getting the victory and wants to fight UFC Paris. It's only 4 months away, so the native Paris, France should get his victory or should get his wish and be able to fight there. He's still undefeated at 10-0 and looked pretty easy doing this, getting this victory here.
Yeah, absolutely easy. Again, another mismatch. Felt bad for Tokos because of just like the whatever all the things that conspired against him for this fight, leading up to this fight. Sai looked absolutely good. He looked incredibly good. He should go to Paris because he took no damage in this fight whatsoever.
That's true, yeah. His rear naked choke wasn't even under the chin. It was just cranking the hell out of the guy's face. Gonna probably break his jaw, so he tapped. And yeah, it was a quick and early stoppage, early victory there. Okay. Where do you want to go from here? Do you want to touch on the female fight? Do you want to just jump into the Magomedov Alves fight? Where do you want to turn to?
Okay, I do want to touch on the Vidal versus Gatto fight, because this is the first time I've ever seen it, where Gatto threw a strike to Vidal's chest, breast, hurt her.
Yeah.
She turned and turtled away from it, from her opponent.
Yeah.
And Chris Tione did the right thing and called the fight.
Yeah.
That's the right thing to do because she was no longer intelligently defending herself.
Yeah.
Right thing to do. Now, personally, I have never seen that before. I've watched a lot of fights. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Have you ever seen that before? That's first for me. I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I've seen some women get struck in the breast before, but not to the point where they were like asking for time and saying like stop it, like a groin shot or a poke to the eye. Immediately she turned and was holding it and asking for a timeout and stuff. So yeah, that was kind of bizarre and strange and yeah, it might become a weapon for a lot more women out there if you can get a victory just by hitting them in the chest like that.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't know because I don't have those. So, but yeah, I've just never seen that before. So maybe she's super sensitive there. I have no idea, but either way, Chris Tione did the right thing.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be no controversy here. She didn't defend herself anymore. So
yeah.
Enough.
When they were reading or when Buffer was calling the fight and saying what had happened, she had a big huge ice pack on her in her hand and holding it on her breast and trying to I guess reduce the swelling or numb it up a little bit. So I've heard it hurts a lot and I don't doubt that. So yeah, it's going to cause a reaction, but I think I don't know. They either have to bring in a rule that you can get a bit of time, or you just can't stop defending yourself, and you have to be in the fight still.
Yeah, that maybe that is something that they need to address because I didn't think it needed to be addressed, but maybe it does need to be addressed.
Yeah, it might. Yeah. Okay, what do you think? Tell me about this Magomedov Warley Alves. Pretty dominating, easy performance for Magomedov. He got a lot of takedowns, was able to get a lot of ground control. Many strikes on the ground. Just beat up Alves pretty easily in this one.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Alves really didn't have any takedown defense. And when it went to the ground, that's where Magomedov dominated him. Absolutely dominated him. So I think this was actually a pretty easy win for Magomedov. If Alves had been more stout in his takedown defense, he might have given himself a chance. He did not. And easy win for Magomedov. Really.
That's
Easy
true.
one.
Yeah. I did want to make note of the Carlos Rodriguez fight. Carlos, he came in just absolutely super jacked. This guy is a physical specimen, super aggressive, and Rodriguez has just utilized the game plan to footwork, movement, some distance control,
Yeah.
and I was really impressed that he was able to
She
get the victory. And just I was blown away because when you looked at them together, you thought, oh man, Carlos is going to easily win this fight, no problem at all. And Rodriguez ended up proving that he's got the ability to get it done.
she, but
Oh,
first off, didn't Carnelosi win the fight because of a DQ disqualification?
disqualification, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah.
Rodriguez was over top of Carnelosi,
Cha-
headbutted her
Oh,
once,
right. Headbutted her
and
twice.
then
Right,
headbutted her
right,
twice.
right. Twice.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They gave her, yeah, because Mark Smith stepped in with a bit of a
And
warning.
warned her,
Yeah.
and then she
And then she did
headbutted
it
her
almost
again
immediately right
right
again.
after.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was crazy. I don't know what fight I was talking about earlier, but yeah, that was insane. Yeah, that she just didn't listen and just decided to throw that second headbutt right away. And uh, the crazy thing was,
Yeah.
Carnelosi was already rocked. She had
Yes.
got knocked down,
Down.
and so when those headbutts happened, then they stopped it and they asked the doctor to come in,
Yeah.
and she just didn't seem with it. And
Yeah.
she had already been rocked, and she was really in lots of trouble. Probably loses this fight if it
Yeah.
continues on, and then for some weird reason, the headbutts come in and the DQ happens, and she's got nobody to blame but herself.
She has absolutely nobody to blame but herself. I did love the fact that just like that dude was jacked. Carlosi, she was very, very jacked.
Right.
It was amazing. But
Yeah,
but
that's hilarious. I guess I thought it was when I looked at it real briefly, I thought it was he, but no, that was yeah, she was very, very, very jacked.
very jacked. But
Yeah,
I thought again that the refs did an exemplary job with that. He
yeah,
did warn her,
yeah,
stern warning, and then for her to go right back at it right after he said
immediately.
what? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that was the right call for sure.
yeah,
And unfortunately, Carnelosi, she couldn't continue because she probably didn't even know what state she was in. So
yeah,
good disqualification.
yeah,
Personally.
that needed to happen. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. So we have a week off for the
Yep.
UFC this coming Saturday, and the next card that we will see happens on June the 1st. That's the main event: Islam Makhachev against Dustin Poirier. Co-main has Sean Strickland against Paulo Costa. We've got Kevin Holland on the card, Jelton Almeida, Randy Rude Boy Brown is fighting on that card. Um, I'm looking forward to tons and tons and tons of fights on UFC 302. I can't wait. And yeah, it's going to be spectacular. There are actually 5 cards in the month of June coming up for the UFC. So spectacular month with tons of incredible, incredible fight cards coming at us.
No, it's going to be great. I'm super looking forward to it. I guess that's why the UFC has said we're just going to give you a weekend off, one,
Yeah.
and then we're going to hit you with a bunch of good stuff. So I'm looking forward to the month of June. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be, well, it's going to be summer.
Yeah.
It's going to be hot, and I'm going to love it. It's going to be great.
302 happens. Yeah, it happens at T-Mobile, I think it is. And then,
Okay.
is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
And then, oh, maybe it's, no, maybe
Wait.
it's Jersey, New Jersey,
Oh,
actually.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
where it is, New
Yeah.
Jersey. And then the fight night happens in Louisville, Kentucky,
Oh,
the
oh, oh,
following
oh.
week. So we talked about Louisville. We'll be bringing up some more stuff on Louisville in a couple weeks.
So here's what's gonna happen. So definitely some fighters are gonna get arrested by the Louisville police force. This time they're gonna get beaten though. Like they're gonna be like, hey, we warned you last time. We warned that golfer. You guys think you're tough? Take out the billy clubs, beat them.
Yeah, I can see it happening. Oh
I can
man,
see it
they're gonna
happening.
come
Oh
out
yeah.
in full force. Yeah, if they're gonna do that to a golfer, oh look
Oh,
out for these fighters.
oh yeah. They're gonna lay the wood to them. It's like, you think you can fight? Well, guess what?
Yeah, so we got something fun to look forward to. A couple weeks in Louisville.
Oh yeah.
Louisville back on the map in less than 2 weeks.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait. Can't wait.
Um, there was one announcement over the weekend that kind of blew me away. Chael Sonnen is fighting Anderson Silva in a boxing fight on June the 15th. It'll be their third fight together against each other. Two fights in MMA, and supposedly this will be Anderson Silva's last fight doing any kind of fighting. He wants to go out beating Chael Sonnen up.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You know what? Like I could see that. Clearly Anderson would be the better boxer, right? But at the same time, it's like, whatever, man. I hope these guys make their money. I hope they both make hope they both make good money. Hopefully, both of them make 7 figures or so. Is this like a Jake Paul event? I don't know what this is. What is this?
Uh,
I don't know what
I
this
don't really know. Yeah, it
is.
just
Okay,
came out
okay.
of left field. Bam! All I heard about was that they just sort of threw it out there about 3 weeks in advance, and yeah, it could be he could be on one of those cards because he did fight Jake Paul a little bit ago. But yeah, all of a sudden, out of the blue, boom! They announced this.
Okay, good enough. Whatever. I hope it's somewhat entertaining, and I hope it doesn't look just like two old men just kind of throwing stuff. It's like, "Nah." Like
Yeah.
I hope it's somewhat entertaining.
I uh I heard some weird rumors about this Tyson fight that
Uh-huh.
in the contract. Did you hear anything about this contract?
I heard some weird stuff, but go on. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go.
I heard that um that if he knocks him out in the first round, he doesn't get paid any money. If he knocks him out as the fight progresses each round, he gets more money if the fight goes farther and farther and farther into it. So there's not really an incentive for him to just immediately KO him. And so, the 58-year-old man might get tired by the eighth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 10th round, and Paul might have the advantage of that. I can't even believe that could be in a contract. But if he knocks him out in the first round, he gets $0, according to this thing I saw today. I haven't been able to verify that, but pretty bizarre and weird.
Why why even bother having the fight?
Yeah,
Like you know what I mean? It's just like,
yeah,
you can't knock me out the first, second, or third round. Okay? Like what are we doing here? I thought this was a fight. I thought this was a boxing match.
yeah.
So I don't know. Credit to Tyson, because maybe he's just like, okay, I'll just toy around with you to the fifth round, then I'm gonna hammer you into oblivion.
Yeah, just wait a couple rounds and just here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does it say here? I just want to find it quick if I
Okay.
can. Let's see. Rules for the bout. While the fight's not an exhibition, will count on their professional records. 8 2-minute rounds. They'll wear 14-ounce gloves. And what else does it say? Does it say anything about this contract?
Okay. That's super weird, man. Either way, if that's
Yeah.
actually written into the contract, that's weird.
Yeah, that just threw like quite the water on it for me if this is the case, and
Yeah.
yeah, not cool. Yeah, I mean that kind of stuff should never be allowed in a contract.
No, of course not. Because then, like, what are we doing here? Like, are we doing a boxing fight, or are we doing like acting?
Yeah.
We acting? We acting? Like, I don't like what is this, wrestling? Is like We're doing
Yeah.
like sports entertainment. That's okay. That's great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
After we saw such a great boxing match this past weekend, then we have to, see crap like this. So, yeah, it's too bad. But yeah, I'll try to dig a little deeper, and we'll talk about it on next week's podcast. Thanks for doing this. It's late. Enjoy the basketball. I'll see you tomorrow. We haven't seen each other much on this show. It's kind of bizarre, but I'm sure we'll cross paths at some point tomorrow.
Yeah, sounds good, man. We'll see you tomorrow. Have yourself an excellent evening.
Thanks, buddy. All right. Good night. Bye for now. Yeah, so wow, we had another really lengthy podcast, and it was blast. We got to touch on so many incredible things tonight. Got to touch base on the conference championships and the combat sports world, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks always for your support. Appreciate it. Want to thank our partners and sponsors. Want to thank Anchor.fm, easiest place to make a podcast. Want to thank Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value. Want to thank Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast beautiful things for your homes, and Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a fantastic short week ahead, and we will talk to you soon. Take care of yourself, and bye for now.